Hey everybody, welcome back to Truck Central. I'm Mr. Justin Wheeler, and this is the 2019 Ram 1500 Limited High Mileage Edition. Now I wanted to talk to you guys for a second about tires, because that does come up a lot in the comments. People asking about the new tires that I mentioned in a couple videos ago, and a lot of people asked me about the previous tires that got a lot of use and they lasted a really long time. So for those of you who haven't seen or didn't hear in a different video, the first set of tires that came on this were a set of Goodyears in by 40,000 miles, and they were the stock, you know, all season street tires, and they were just really terrible tires. Even when they were new, they did not feel safe in wet conditions. They didn't feel good on slick roads. They didn't handle dirt, mud, sand well at all. So needless to say, and they were fairly worn by 40,000 miles. So at that time, upgraded to the Nitto Ridge Grapplers in the 305 4522 flavor, and those were great tires. I'd had Terra Grapplers in the past, and those had traditionally been my go-tos. I changed it up, got the Ridge Grapplers this time, spent what was it, $1,700 maybe, give or take. Forgive me if I can't remember. They're expensive, but they were really good tires. They looked nice, they rode nice, they wore evenly. They had an aggressive sidewall, which I think looks good. Complements kind of that, you know, just the aesthetic of the tire wheel combo. But the best thing about it was that I got 80,000 miles out of them, which is impressive. And I still had a little bit of tread left. It was getting low. Anyway, long story short, we needed new tires, and supply chain problems that everybody's aware of hit pretty hard. So I decided to go with something new. I went with the Toyo AT3s, and that was in the same size, 305 4522. I could get them same day. Supply chain wasn't a problem. Price was very similar. Depending on the size you get, the profile, and the load rating and all that, you're going to spend anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 on a set. More if you have kind of the oddball sizes, so just be prepared for that. Hang on one second, guys. Justin Wheeler from the future here, and I wanted to make note of one thing real quick. I had said that I went with the Toyo AT3s because the Ridge Grapplers, they had supply chain problems. They were out of stock everywhere. I just couldn't get them where I was at when I was available. So I went with the AT3s, and they're a good tire. I didn't know at the time that I could have gone to realtruck.com and actually got either one of them at a very competitive price. So you don't have to settle for a tire if what you want is not locally available. Head on over to realtruck.com and see if they've got what you need. So what's different between the Ridge Grappler and the AT3? They're very similar. Price points are close. Looks are close. I think the Ridge Grappler has a slightly more aesthetically pleasing sidewall or shoulder. But the AT3, they're readily available. They have a nice warranty, 65,000 mile manufacturer warranty on the AT3s, and you can even get a 50,000 mile warranty on the more oddball sizes like I was speaking to. But the other thing, the kind of the larger difference is, and this is what also makes the AT3 different than the AT2 and the AT1, is that it's got the 3-peak mountain snowflake rating, and that is actually approved by the United States Tire Manufacturer Association, USTMA. Anyway, that's the group that basically tests and approves whether or not it is capable of extreme, and I use the word extreme lightly because people in Dallas think winter weather is a little bit different than people in Detroit. But this is an unbiased, you know, nationally recognized group that says these AT3s are capable of extreme winter weather. And I will say that the Ridge Grapplers did not have that snowflake rating. And the only time I ever got stuck in my Ridge Grapplers was in the snow. And it wasn't deep snow either. It was just, there was no base. It was thin, you know, a few inches of snow on grass. And actually a police officer pulled me out. It was embarrassing. Anyway, so hopefully these new AT3s with the snowflake rating will provide me better winter weather. And as you can see, it's snowing here today in Colorado. One of the reasons I have reserved this tire kind of preliminary review until I had a chance to put it on some snow. It's obviously in the winter. I took this truck through all the way across Tennessee earlier this month when they had the big ice and snowstorms. There were dozens, if not 100 cars in ditches on the sides of the road, and this thing just took it like a champ. Never felt uncomfortable, never felt squirrely, very smooth, tracked right down the road, never lost traction. I mean, it performed fantastic. Now I'm in Colorado, been driving through here for the week. It's been snowing all week, and still very happy with the results. So some of the things that give the new AT3 an edge over the previous models, they claim to have a new tire compound. Now, I know every tire manufacturer says this is our new compound. I think that's just kind of the ongoing sales pitch, but they do say that the AT3 is different than the previous versions. Additionally, they say that the new 3D multi-wave siping is what helps this new tire, or new iteration of this tire, perform in the snow and wet environments. And if you're not familiar with what siping is, it's those little cross-sectional or horizontal slits in the tire. And I'm going to get out and show you in just a second what I mean. There's these little, they got these little cuts, little waves, and all the lugs and the tread of the tires. And I guess that that gives it that increased flexibility to grip the road or ice pack or whatever you're driving on. So I guess it works. It's been doing great. I've been very happy with these tires so far. So you can see here, this is what they call the 3D multi-wave siping. Lots of these slits in the tires that enable maximum flexibility. You can see here that this is the wear at 20,000 miles. Where's our snowflake? There's our snowflake. What you need right there. 305, 45, 22. Holding up really well. I've only got 20-ish thousand miles on them. They still look brand new. I'm hoping to get at least 80,000 miles out of these. That'll put me just over the 200,000 mile mark on the truck, which we'll be at, you know, in a few months. So we'll be able to see how well these hold up, and we'll have a really good apples to apples comparison, long-term, long-range comparison on the Ridge Grapplers versus the AT3s. Because at the end of the day, I don't drive in cold weather environments all the time. I can handle, I guess what I should say is I would rather go with a tire that I know is going to last 80,000 miles and perform really, really well 99.9% of the time than go with a really great tire that is really good in the snow and inclement weather that I only get 60,000 miles out of. Now, if I lived in Colorado, the AT3 would probably be the best choice because it may be the best all-terrain, all-season, snow-capable tire out there. Now, I haven't tried them all, but I've read some reviews just like you guys do and are kind of doing now, and they're extremely well-reviewed and well-liked. So, I mean, they're a really good tire, but I don't want to compromise tire longevity for the occasional snowstorm, because where I'm at, it's just not worth that sacrifice, or that compromise, I should say. So it's gonna vary based on region. If I get 60,000 miles out of them, that's great. I will probably go back with the Ridge Grapplers next, or who knows what's going to come out next. I'm sure there's going to be something new in the next, 6 or 7 days. So that's kind of my initial thoughts on these. I will keep you posted. We will have some more updates coming up on the tires and kind of the general wear of the vehicle, just like we've been giving you guys. Justin from the future, back for the last time, I promise. I gave you guys a lot of information. Which tire's better is ultimately what you want to know, the AT3 or the Ridge Grappler. It really depends on where you're from. If you're from a southern climate, dry, San Antonio, the Ridge Grappler is probably the best tire you can get for the money and the longevity that you get out of it and the performance, aggressive look. Ridge Grappler all day long. If you're from a colder, northern, snowy weather environment, it probably makes the most sense to go with the Toyo AT3. That snowflake rating is not just a stamp on the tire. It actually makes a difference. They've actually engineered that to be a safer, more comfortable, long-lasting snow tire. Will it last as long as the Ridge Grappler? I'm guessing probably not, but it does give you the wider range of performance. And it's worth noting that in some states that snowflake rating can actually get you a discount on your insurance. That's based on state and region, so you'll have to check. But if it can save you money, it might actually be an even better deal or a better value for you when it comes to deciding which tire you want. When it's time to make that choice, head on over to realtruck.com. They've got a wide selection, and you might not have to worry about those same supply chain issues that you'll see locally. As always, leave a comment down below. You know I like talking to you. Thanks for watching.